The UFL Week 2 reaction show episode of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. They got UFL action all day. Promo code TCE SGPN to get $1,000 in bonus credits. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. Do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
This is the UFL Gambling Podcast Week 2 reaction show. Welcome, youtube.com/@UFL Gambling Pod. Hit that like and subscribe button because it's the path where crossroads meet bullshit, and we're here to talk about it all. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, it's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Oh, yeah. I mean, uh-oh. Is that my internet? Your internet? What a time. Started out red hot. Close, kind of cold. Final Sunday there was a little cold for old Dundee. I am joined by my co-host. He was recently just talking about a Venezuelan revolution. But give it up for the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. You saw the videos. You see his goddamn hat. He's covering the Masters, Augusta, all that shit. He's eating those pimento cheese fucking sandwiches, I'm sure. Give it up for the great CJ Sullivan. How are you, buddy?
Good Scumbagger Vance this week as I put out the Master Weeks videos. I just finished editing up another one for tomorrow. I got a hot one tomorrow, too, coming out there. What's up, guys? Fine weekend, I guess, kind of mixing in between the March Madness tournament. It was whatever. We'll get into the games. Arlington, I mean, I don't know. I'm just looking at it. Arlington was a very big disappointment. I already see the chat room talking about it.
I don't get they bring the head cold, but they're
Yes, we will talk about these games because they, by the way, unders just destroying this week. We are joined by the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. He saves the good whiskey for that show, gives us the fucking Evan Williams or Jim Beam. Give it up for Justin Mark, aka J Mark. How are you, buddy?
Excuse you, Evan Williams Bottled and Bond is fantastic stuff.
I do love Evan Williams.
Yeah,
I do
he's
love
fine.
Evan Williams. Yeah,
It's like
Better
the
than
RC
Jack Daniels for my money.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like the
That's the
RC
hipster.
Cola of whiskeys, I would say. It steals the font. It makes you try to think it's Jack Daniels. I love the whole thing about it.
RC Cola, as far as I know, I haven't done a deep dive on Royal Crown Cola, I believe.
Yep.
They're better than Coke. I was watching this documentary on Coca-Cola being complete piles of shit during World War II. They didn't want to lose their money to Germany and Italy and Japan, so they created a company called Fanta.
Yeah, love
To
Fanta.
disguise it, to support those communist fucks, right? And but hey, we're talking UFL. This is a whole league built on communism.
Sure, you don't become. Yeah, I mean, you don't go
They
$1 trillion worldwide company by being nice and by
The
not
league-
being
yeah.
Nazi sympathizers.
The league owns every team, and they can just do whatever trade they want to do, just like we saw with Marcus Sims, right? What the hell's going on right here with
let's
this trade?
get into that before we get into the hot start of Colby D, because J Mark will check the books on that later on. He's our GRP. He's got the notebooks. He keeps an honest ledger of all of us. But yeah, J Mark.
The CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.
We already had our first big trade of the UFL season. J Mark puts it in a Slack, and it's always shocking because there's no goddamn rules and laws with this league. They just trade stars
when you
for
own
nobody.
League,
Yeah.
they're like, you guys, Houston's fucking hard. They had a meeting.
Right.
They're like, Houston's fucking horrible. And they came to the conclusion that I guess the quarterback's not the problem, it's the receivers. So that they're wrong. But what the hell happened here, J Mark? Discuss this trade. Because you're a lot of people in the chat like to say you're like Adam Schefter. So what are you doing? What happened here?
I mean, I dislike Rodgers as much as Schefter does. So, no. So Marcus Sims traded from the Panthers to the Houston Roughnecks for Cam Carter. Coach Nolan said it was Sims' ability to stay healthy, even though he's been healthy this year and he played injured last year, and the need to bolster pass protection. Now, Sims has tweeted out that coaches value politics over winning. He did not specify what politics, if it's just politicalness of the office.
UFL politics. Let me tell you something about UFL politics.
Yeah, he didn't say. So,
Is it personal politics? Is it's wide receiver room politics in the Panther organization?
I just think he had to issue a statement because the UFL said we need Houston to be better, and it's like just say some shit about politics,
Now,
and
was this a starting offensive lineman, J Mark?
I believe it was.
All right, at least it's that, because sometimes they trade for those linebackers on the
Third
IR,
stringer.
right? Yeah, third string, where they don't even hide the fact that they're like, listen, we're just gifting this team this player, because Sims is a very good player, and that's an amazing statement to say. Well, he's injured. Well, he's not hurt now, but trust me, he'll get hurt.
well, I mean, if you look up the stats from a year ago, Sims was one of the best players for he was a top 10 leading receiver. I'm counting by number here. He was the 6th leading receiver from a year ago.
Good.
So, maybe the offensive lineman's good. Maybe, I don't know, but it's a little suspicious, I'd say, out the start.
And he claims, just to refute that, he said he played on a back fracture and a tear in his hamstring all year last year.
And they don't even get insurance year round for these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think they would want a defensive lineman, because you said the other move they made is they put Breland Speaks on the defensive player of the year on the IR.
Yeah.
Which, who knows in this league, means a week off, or if that means the rest of the season. I mean, that's not really specified, but
both big losses. So, Michigan trending down. One loss and they're trending down.
Yeah, Birmingham kind of made the whole franchise crash out.
I know I was talking shit to you guys. We'll talk about that in a second, but I'm looking forward to talking a lot more shit to you guys. But before I do that, I want to let you know the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by us. Yes, SGPN. We are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. So hello, friends. Augusta is right around the corner, and SGPN is back with Splash Sports for a big-ass contest. You out there listening, watching, could win up to $30,000 in prizes with just a $25 entry fee. Get in today. Splashsports.com/SGPN, splashsports.com/SGPN. And make sure you tune into, I'm gonna go off the script here. Make sure you tune into the Bottom Line Bombs podcast in the golf gambling. I like a little rivalry, the golf gobbling podcast there. But make sure you check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. Also, golf gambling and Steffi Smalls. All SGPN shows going to be talking about the Masters picks, but I highly recommend the Bottom Line Bobs here.
Thank you.
Steffi
should call her show that, the golf gobbling fucking show. That'd be good. I'm just saying, it'll get some clicks. It'll get clicks.
Right? Yeah. All right. But yeah, check all that stuff out. UFL. Obviously you can.
And speaking of that contest, I'll just plug real quick here for anyone listening.
Sure.
tomorrow's Bottom Line Bombs is my full Masters show, and including an entire segment where I'll be giving out my lineups for that contest and helping people out putting a lineup if you know nothing about golf or anything like that. It's a fun way to do it. $20, $25, whatever. You can win $30K. Why not?
Why not? Why not? I mean, you're gonna spend 25. You know, you're gonna go down to your local dive. Wait, just one less cocktail for some Susan you're buying it for.
And there's nothing better than that Sunday, the Masters on the couch, napping in and out with the birds chirping in the background. The TV puts the fake bird noises in there, ones that don't even migrate towards Georgia, whatever it is, to ignore the family and sleep through some golf. It's the perfect Sunday.
That reminds me of when was it the XFL? Who pumped in fake crowd noise? Was that NFL? During COVID?
NFL did that. A lot of people
during
did
COVID.
Yeah, for sure. And they got caught doing it.
Yeah, hilarious stuff. Look, game one from last week, I was talking a lot of shit because my co-host, they got a little cute with these champs, this Michigan Panther bullshit.
We didn't know about the politics in the wide receiver room.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics going on, a lot of chaos.
21-12, the Stallions took down the Michigan Panthers, and Stallions never trailed. They just dominated this game thoroughly. All right. Even though their yardage only says they won by 19 yards. This was an ass whooping. All right. I don't care who the fuck is saying what. Right. This is an ass whooping. And we just talk about some of the numbers they show. They have 11,000 fans in the stands. What?
Yeah.
Stop lying to me. What? So you gifted? Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they deem this. Like, oh well, we gave out 11,000 tickets. Probably gave it to fucking elementary schools all through the Detroit area. There was not 11,000 people at that fucking game. I'm sorry. I know it's a big stadium, bigger than some of the other ones, but when I saw those numbers, it was like 11,000. No fucking way. No one was at that game. But anyway.
Yeah.
Stallions showed they flexed their DNA. Now Alex Mago got injured on the first play of the game.
That's kind of the story there. Alex Mago they gave him the old, hey, why don't you run the old quarterback power over there? No one block for him and knock you out, and all. Now we can play the game. I mean, that was the entire game plan. That's how we handicapped.
They would have won by more if he played.
Listen, Birmingham, they would not.
I think they would have.
I think he's washed, to be honest with you.
I do not. Corral threw some terrible passes too.
Well, I mean, he
should have thrown a pick six on like the second pass of the game.
But he also got thrown into the middle of the game. Not known as the starter all week, but he wound up throwing for 200 yards.
Well, part of the reason why you like Birmingham as a future is they have three quarterbacks that are better than the rest of the league for the most part.
They're the best team, and they have not lost back-to-back games since 2020.
And they've never lost to the Michigan Panthers.
Right. So I mean. Yeah, it's definitely one-sided rivalry, and Panthers keep messing around with Perkins and not making him the number one starter. It's maddening what they do with these quarterbacks. That's
Mike Nolan's terrible. How about electing to punt?
I know.
How about Mike Nolan? Wait, Mike Nolan, right? Yeah, Mike Nolan electing to punt. What? They were down how many points? What was that? They were at like the 45, and he punted.
Yeah. That being said,
like 3 minutes left.
That being said, they did get a chance, and they fumbled that punt return. They were going to get the ball back with a chance to tie after all said and done. But I say one thing: we all agreed on the under, and the under was barely almost league shenanigans fixed that at the end. But that was pretty much the play of the day there for that game is the under, if you ask me.
Dude, all of these games really. I mean,
yeah.
So someone had DM'd me. Do I think last year is better than this year? I don't even know that I can say that. I think they always start off slow.
It's a slow start, and we noted the training camp was a week or shorter this year. They're kind of still getting their leg bearings going, but this week was not a good example. I'll tell you what, week 1 was better than week 2. I'll say that. I'm not going to compare years yet, but
J Mark, I think you had probably mentioned to a bunch of your fans there that on Twitter that you made a mistake not taking the Stallions. They're the pride of this conference. You feel better about your future. Skip Holtz, they should build him a statue in fucking Birmingham.
He's the real Spring King, right?
He is the real Spring King. He should be doing a book.
Hey, only one Spring King's undefeated. I'll just say that.
Strong performance too.
2-0, baby. 2-0.
Manny
Yeah.
Wilkins.
You look at the that's what I'm saying. Like if they both ran 56 plays, which is phenomenal. And then
Does it worry you
Stallions-
at all that Birmingham cannot run the ball yet?
that does. Well, Person had a big run early in the game, but that was kind of on an accidental misdirection. Like he banged into his offensive lineman. The defense was reacting all to the left side. He bounces to the right. It does worry me. The O-line is clearly not as good.
Yeah.
But another thing is I thought the emergence of Jay Sternberger and Deion Kane.
Deion Kane was nice to see him come back to be
yeah.
the number one guy. That bomb for a touchdown was amazing.
And remember, Corral had that interception inside the 20 also, or 25.
Perkins had a pick too. That was not his fault. That came out of the
Yeah, it was not his fault. But
Colburn looked
what-
good on the other side as well.
He got injured though.
I know, but he was.
That's
looking
something to
all got
worry
injured.
about. Yeah, their whole running back room
Yeah.
got injured. Danny Etling did come in.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I
Ridiculous.
think that
2 yards
that-
per attempt, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Look, we all took. I mean, I can't remember if you guys joined me or not, but I took a future on Birmingham, Michigan, and Arlington. I'm a little worried about the Michigan one. I love Perkins. I just don't think Mike Nolan's a very good coach. If I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
no, I did not take Michigan. You can get a better number now with Michigan. They're a much worse
Yeah.
number. I mean, they don't look good. And I mean, hell, they put politics first. I mean, there's just shipping off things.
Is this local Michigan politics with the fucking poison in the water? What is it?
More importantly, do you think Corral's the starter going forward now for Birmingham?
At least for I would say like because that
don't
injury
see how
he
you
did
go.
look.
Yeah, I don't see
Yeah.
how you go back to McCall after that. That's
But I'll
crazy.
say this: like I think it's a little unfair for Formago because I thought he looked bad in week 1, but Corral definitely had moments where he did not look good. Like I mean, he still played decent, but I still think Mago was I part of my
Yeah, you guys and your USFL bullshit. You come over here with your elitist attitude with your USFL players.
dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town.
yeah, the Stallions are going to be. Look, I don't give a shit who they're starting. They had Jamar Smith one year; they won the championship.
All right.
You know, like they're going to be fine. Whoever, Adrian Martinez, Jamar Smith, Alex Mago, it don't matter. That's what Skip does. But I think you're going to see both on the field. I don't know if it'll be this week though, because that injury actually looked like there was something there. He looked like he was actually in pain.
Yeah,
So-
he's not practicing today or this week yet. So I bet he doesn't even suit up, to be honest. I think it'll be
Is the
Corral
team
and
practicing
Facebook.
today?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they had the money for Tuesdays.
And then to your point about the future for Michigan, I mean, you take that future because their defense is so good. And I think losing Breland Speaks to IR, if it is for the year, that's huge.
And the running backs. I mean, like, just,
Yeah.
true.
yeah. Because one thing I like Bryce Perkins. One thing I've noticed this year, and I get it. Remember, he got injured last year running, and he jumped over a guy and got injured.
Mhm.
Remember that? They're not doing as much creative runs, or maybe it was him ad-libbing before. They're not doing it as often, which I actually think hurts his value as best quarterback in the league. Maybe he needs
Yeah.
to run more.
Yeah, and I think it's more what you were saying about Mike Nolan being a bad coach. And,
Yeah.
there's their whole system. They don't really design any good running plays.
I mean,
for
didn't
them
you see
either.
what Adrian Martinez was able to do, or
Right.
Mago the first couple? Like that's why I thought Skip Holtz is such ahead of all these other coaches. It's just like it's simple. He's gonna.
Well,
A lot of these other coaches try to make it way more difficult than it needs to be.
He probably has just 20 plays, and Elling can't run those design runs. So,
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I crushed that one, nailed it, 2-0 ATS.
perfect. Good job.
Typical
Congratulations.
UFL gambling podcast stuff. And then came this classic. I know this is a little bit out of sequence. I thought this was on Saturday, but I got my days confused. This was actually on Sunday. The Arlington. How about this? I'll just go. We'll do this first. The Memphis Showboats and the DC Defenders. I cashed on this game.
This was Saturday night, right?
Yes, this was a frustrating watch, in my opinion, because we took Memphis on the money line, and it
Yeah.
could have hit. It could have hit.
Memphis was my huge dog of the weekend. I had him plus the 8.5. We had him on the money line.
This was annoying.
Should have hit. They outgained them by 40
That's what
yards
I'm
for
saying.
crying out
That's
loud.
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
but they had 3 turnovers. That was the game. It was the 3 turnovers. Even though they scored at the end to pull up, and then old J Mark's buddy Tamu, he does not look good. he threw for 46%, 158 yards. He chucks the ball up 30 times.
How about
but they pulled it out.
Williams
KJ
not
Hill
playing
plays
at all?
Yeah, it was just weird.
Weren't we just hyping up Troy Williams?
Of course. Yeah, he's the one who gives him the jolt of offense. Although Perry wasn't the worst. I know he ran the ball okay.
He had some throws where I was just like, "What are you doing, man?" But there's got to be better. I mean, the stats. I guess
I will say shout out
a little bit.
Shout out back-to-back weeks for my man DFS stud Jonathan Adams, who had another monster game.
Dog.
9 for 128 on 10 targets. Not to flex a little bit over here, but I had a top 10 DFS lineup this week. Got a quadruple payout. Wish I did more than a $5 tournament, but anyway, still got top 10th place out of like 180 in DFS.
Yeah, there we go. Shout out because I ate shit. This
my lineup
this
was
week of
loaded,
DFS,
and I only missed first place by like 2 or 3-4 points.
I mean, how the hell Memphis had so many opportunities here.
Yeah, this was very frustrating. I
don't even know. I'm trying to say what do I deduce from this? Is DC one of the best teams in the league? I kind of don't think so.
This played exactly how we thought it was going to be a letdown game. But Saturday night, their home crowd might drag them across the finish line. And if Memphis was just a little bit better, they would have been able to win. But better, just don't fucking hand it over to them. Don't give them 3 turnovers like that. And all you have to do is just play a reasonable game because they still are better than I thought they're going to be Memphis. But they're still. But also, side note, they're also bad.
I didn't think, we talked about, I took DC because we talked about like that hangover from week 1. I didn't think that the Showboats would be able to keep up with them. Credit to them. Their defense looks pretty decent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, DC is going to be the toughest team, I think, to handicap all year because they are up and down. They're volatile. And Tamu, he's got a good arm. He can sling it, but he can also make some really dumbass throws.
Yeah.
And so I think they're going to be one of the hardest teams to kind of get a read on all year.
Is it safe to say? I guess the Manny Wilkins element is intriguing, but I was going to say, is it safe to say that Perez, Perkins, and whoever Birmingham starts are the best quarterbacks in this league?
No.
Because I don't know. Manny Wilkins has kind of played himself into, what do you mean no?
Because Spring Kings cover. Spring Bums can win a game anytime.
Wow, right.
Wow.
We'll get to that. They're in a look ahead spot. Let's not talk about those undefeated Renegades just yet, because I will say this about DC. I will say this about DC though. They did run the ball well. The nice Smith looked better. I still love Deion Jackson. They kind of did like a 50-50 split, but they were running the ball pretty well against them. But the who knows what's going to happen, of course, with the coaching staff down in Tennessee State.
Yeah, and their spring game is I think next weekend. So
that's the king of spring. That's the king of spring.
Let me ask you guys this. I know I have personally said it's ridiculous to use the 2 quarterback system for all these teams. So in one way, I don't want to shit on Memphis too much. But should EJ Perry be starting over Troy Williams? Because Troy Williams didn't take 1 snap against DC. Perry did everything. Now I can appreciate, I do think when you have a starting quarterback, you shouldn't just go back and forth between 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
But are they starting the wrong quarterback, CJ?
I mean, when Troy Williams came in last week, he gave instant offense. We liked him last year too. He did the same thing, but maybe that's all he can give you. Maybe once he is the starter and he is the consistent starter, he just can't, keep up with it, and he only comes in spurts. So I don't know. This whole league has a love affair with EJ Perry, which I don't get. Like from last year with the Panthers, everywhere they just keep trying to make it happen. Like Cut to the
I texted you
cue
guys.
the Mean Girls. Cue the Mean Girls meme. Stop trying to make EJ Perry happen, for Christ's sake.
I texted you guys in the middle of that game saying there's got to be better. You can't tell me.
Right.
I watch college football. I watch FCS college football. You're telling me that you can't find a better quarterback out there. I mean, hell, J Mark, where the hell's Brian Scott at right now? Because I know Brian Scott's better than EJ Perry.
Let's get him up. Yeah. Let's get that campaign going. Let's get Scott up here. You got his handles. You got his contact information. Let's get him on. Let's get him out and give him a tryout. He'd be great on Memphis.
Honestly, he was way better than EJ Perry in my opinion.
Yeah, but the short answer, yes, Troy Williams should be starting.
All right. Well, there's that. DC, the defense with Greg Williams is looking great.
Now, J Mark, check the notebook. What did we all have on this side for the total wise? Now we were all on Memphis, right? Oh no, you had DC. You said
I had DC. Correct.
Okay, you're 0-2 on the side so far.
Yep.
But 1-0 in the total. What did we have on the total here? Did we all have the over? What happened here?
I was on the under. You guys were on the over. It was 37.
Yes, we ate shit here.
All
Memphis, if they could have fucking scored. But we did nail Memphis plus the points, didn't we, Bet Detective?
We sure did, and I'm still wanted that money line to come in, but I was pretty big on Memphis plus the points. I loved it. Not as big as I was on Arlington, but still liked it.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the next two games. But before I do that, I want to let you know the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Edge Boost. You ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before a big bet? Ever needed to cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but hit your ATM limit? These bastards, right? But guess what? Next time, dial up the old quarterback sneak, all right? Because Edge Boost has your back. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. With Edge Boost, all your gambling-related transactions will always be approved. No more headaches, all right? For you high rollers out there, you can move up to $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals. Woo! This works 24/7 too. They're not going to be timed. They're not going to care about if you cross state lines or some shit. You know what I mean? Never wait for a wire to clear ever again. All right. And it geds better. Every time you deposit into a qualified gambling account, you earn cashback rewards up to 0.5%. All this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. This is a bank account, not a credit card. So there is no approval required, no credit checks, that bullshit. You know what I mean? Finally, Edge Boost has a suite of responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. All right. So get on over there. What are you waiting for? Edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up today for Edge Boost. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. I can't get enough of this UFL stuff on MyBookie.ag. And MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, also including the Masters. Check out the bottom line bombs for more on that. Plus, props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations. You can easily deposit and get lightning fast payouts using crypto. So head on over to MyBookie.ag, but use our promo code TCESGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back on the UFL Gambling Podcast, and we had this game. I couldn't believe this game was real. So, of course, I put a large wager in on these Renegades.
I was so happy about this too because I got a good value. I got it at 9. It went off at 11.5. All Arlington money. Oh, I got a good number. The whole, which doesn't even matter in this league with the fucking conversions, but still.
Yeah.
I was patting myself on the back before kickoff.
Yeah, and I mean, this one was just super annoying. I mean, what do we put into this? Like, okay, so is Houston better than what we think, or is this just Arlington phoning it in? So Arlington wins 11-9. If you didn't catch the game,
yeah,
it was like what I feel like. This was not a good weekend if you're trying to showcase your league. It was like 3-0 for like 2 hours of this game. I feel like.
Yeah, it
What
was
was-
3-3 for a while.
Yeah,
It
or
was
whatever.
it was just gross. I will say this. It was a letdown spot for Arlington after a big win. A look-ahead spot as well. It's a classic sandwich game. And Arlington, like I said, the reason why I did not put them number one in the ranking, I think go crazy like J-Mark did last week. I kept them within reason because, they're still Arlington here. They still have a lot to prove, and they're not good enough to look ahead for like a Birmingham matchup. You're not at that level yet. You're not, you haven't been putting up those wins. You're climbing up as we speak. So they're lucky to get out of there alive, even though they outgained them, by 70 yards. They did beat them, but it was just a sleepwalk performance. King of Spring Perez, say what you want. Jay Markey threw 70% completion percentage, 211 yards. Anthony Brown was the reason. He still stinks, 46%. He threw for.
They doubled down on him again too, right?
They sure did. Oh, I mean, CJ is just like, yeah, he won in training camp. So yeah, Henderson, he threw the ball 3 times. He barely even got in there. Speaking of, I brought this up in the Slack.
What's
Houston
that?
scored a touchdown to make it 11-9 at the end of the game. Then they go for 2 for the tie. What are you doing? Go for 3 for the win. And if you don't get it,
you have no business.
right, you have no business being in the game. You're not going to be in overtime. What, you want to go overtime? First of all, go for 3 for the win. And if you miss it, you still got that bullshit onside kick rule back there.
Yeah,
You can get the ball back with a 4th and 12 and be down 2, and all you need is a field goal. Like, going for 2 is insane to me there. The tie. How can you consciously want to go for a tie when you have the option to go for the win or another chance for the win right behind you? You basically have 2 chances for the win with
You
the
really
ball
do.
with the ball in your hands.
You really do. And yeah, that makes no sense. I mean, the Anthony Brown thing, like, he did complete for 6 yards of completion. So, I mean, he took a big jump, a big step forward in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, he threw for 179 yards, touchdown, a pick.
46% is not great.
Yeah, that's
though.
not good.
But I think the bigger factor out of this game is the run game. But if you take away
Yeah.
Anthony Brown's 20 yards rushing and Nolan Henderson's 7, then the running backs of this team had 14 rushes for 36 yards.
And I'm upset because I had Kalen Balaj on my DFS team, and I shouted out Day Hunter. I said I couldn't find his price. I couldn't find him in the scrolls. He had the better game. He would have put me up top. I'd be shipping first place here if I would have placed. I wouldn't have played him over Balaj, but Hunter looked good, 14 for 63. Like I said, who knows? I'll give him a little bit of a pass because it's a sandwich game, but yeah, they're not good enough to do this shit.
J Mark, your thoughts on the YouTube sensation, the King of Spring, and
King of Spring,
2-0. He's 2-0. That's what winners do, J Mark.
Yeah, great teams cover. Spring of Kings or King of Spring, they cover. It was just a sloppy game by Arlington. Houston did hang around a little bit. CJ, you talk about why didn't they go for 3?
Yeah,
I mean, none of us expect Curtis Johnson to be logical. I mean,
solid point.
Yeah, he probably didn't even know they could go for 3. It
Right.
wouldn't surprise me. He's like, we're not kicking.
He probably
had
the OC saying we should go for 3, and say 3. We can't do 3. 2.
Right.
2.
They gotta. I think they should give Nolan Henderson a real shot at quarterback. I know everybody on the socials are like, throw him in. And then he comes in for 3 passes, doesn't complete any of them.
What I mean, his hands are tied with that.
Yeah. The game rhythm's not there. I mean, Brown, 179 yards, had the touchdown, the interception. He has that rushing ability, but he's just not very accurate. Maybe he'll be more accurate now that they got Marcus Sims, even though they lose a starting tackle, that he might be running for his life more. I don't know. Then on the other side, I think Arlington will be fine. I mean, I still think they have a really strong run game. As much as I shit on Luis Perez, I think he's got a handle on the spring league right now.
Yeah.
And I think Stoops is a good defensive coach. I still like Stoops as a coach there. So I think they'll be fine. They're not number 1 this week, but I'm not plummeting them because of this game.
No, and you're right. And I love Stoops, even though Colby gave him some kind of a little slander by just not even mentioning him to with the best coaches in the league when he's mentioning Skip Holtz. I mean, this defense has been playing good 2 weeks in a row now. Single
All
digit
I'm
points they've
saying is
allowed. And Stoops, we all what's Stoops' bio in the King of Spring book? What did he write in the because he wrote the foreword.
I did see that. I did see that. I forget what it was.
His
but I know
credits
you're
are
talking
amazing
about.
that he put. I love how that's how he signs his name every time.
It's like highest win percentage,
Yeah.
Oklahoma history,
Oklahoma
or
has-
most
it's
wins.
amazing.
I wasn't winner. I think it was most wins.
Yeah. So
It's
put
like,
some
well, you understand that back in the 70s, he played like 7 games, Bob.
I
All
love
right.
it. Put some respect on Bob Stoops' name is what I'm saying.
I love Bob Stoops. All right. Mike
All
Leach worked for him. We're a Mike Leach podcast. And,
Right.
but yeah, I would say, I mean, I trust Stoops to make adjustments. Besides Skip, I think Stoops is the second best coach in this league.
All right, fair enough.
What week do you think we'll get to? And make a prediction, guys. We're 2 weeks into this, and the Roughnecks have 15 points, so averaging 7.5 points per game. What week will they get to double digits? They're at Memphis this week.
Oh,
I know we got our pick show, but will they get to double digits this week, CJ?
You just answered it. Well, Memphis's defense is better than we thought. They would play pretty good, but I think the talent level, I think they'll both teams will feel like this is a game they can win. And when you get that attitude going into it, then you're going to go see some scoring. So yeah, I think it'll actually I'm already talking myself into that's a sneaky overplay actually that game. I like when bad teams play each other.
I don't think they're going to get double digits this week. J Mark, do you?
No, I'm going week 5 against San Antonio.
Okay.
They got Stallions week 4, and then they have San Antonio. So I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah, I like that angle. Speaking of San Antonio, let's talk about this bullshit. How did this over not hit?
Yeah,
how did this fucking over not hit, man? They're at like the fucking 5-yard line, was it? What yard line were they at? I mean, we had this was like the over was the right side. The over was the right side.
It was the 2 or 3 yard line, I think.
Wanted to vomit.
Yeah,
how about the first half? To end the first half, what the fuck was that? Their team's terrible, dude. You know what? They were such a gimmick last year. It's such a bullshit gimmick last year.
They got their championship game. This is exactly how we called it.
Set it up.
Too, or at least I called it the revenge game from the championship game. They poured it on them. It was a fast track game, and San Antonio does their same bullshit. McFarland dominates for 5 carries. Then they say sit down, and then we're gonna give Coburn the ball. I mean Mond was awful. Like, what are they doing? Can we get McFarland out of there? Can we get him somewhere where we can,
yeah, please put him on the Stallions. Put him
right.
on,
Get him on the Stallions is right.
It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to know, like, why doesn't he hold out? I mean, shit, go to the CFL. Someone's got to get me in touch with him. I could sell this guy.
6 carries, 55 yards. Corbin 10 for 38. What are we doing here?
It jumps off screen. It's like Kevontae Turpin. When Turpin was in the USFL with the New Jersey Generals, he looked so much better than the rest of the league. It just on an end around or a 3-yard catch, you could just see it just pops on screen. You're just like, whoa, this guy should not be playing in this league. Like he's better than everybody. Same can be said for Anthony McFarland, but yet they continue to not utilize him. He should be the MVP of the league.
He's I know he's not, but the best running back on the field was my man, of course.
Oh, I did play him. I played him in DFS.
So you better play him DFS if you wanted to get some money, and that's how you get top 10. He had 3 touchdowns. That gives him 4 on the year. You want to list him?
And didn't he get a 2-point conversion too?
Yeah, he was dominating. He was amazing. I mean, at 40 yards.
A list of teams that haven't even scored 3 touchdowns.
You want to hear a list of teams that have less touchdowns than Sailors on the season?
Sure.
And he has 4 total. We'll start off with Birmingham, who only has 3 touchdowns on the season. DC's got 2. Michigan's got 3. Memphis 2. Houston 2. That's more than half the damn league. Sailors has more touchdowns than coming into after 2 weeks of football. Only San Antonio, Arlington, and St. Louis, the team he plays for, has more touchdowns or is equal amount to Sailors.
They got to pull the plug. I mean, that's a phenomenal stat, by the way, but they got to pull the plug on Mond. Me and Real Money Kramer were talking about this. Well, I was like, I was a skeptic of him getting drafted by the Vikings in the 2nd round. And I even in this league, like, I just am not sold on this guy. Never been sold on him. Even in college, I did not think he was very good.
You didn't like his 48% completion and 129 yards with an interception on Sunday?
He did have that 13-yard run on a third down that was impressive, but they suck, dude. That team's fucking horrible.
Which begs the point as well. Now, Manny Wilkins looked great. That's why you have to put him in the top quarterbacks. But look at the two opponents he's played against. How good is he?
That's true.
You know, it's been Houston and San Antonio. But you have to give him credit for what he's doing. 75%.
Well, he looks comfortable back there.
Does.
Like, I mean, he's also right. He ran for like 58 yards. So
yeah, he ran for 58 on 9. He threw for 162. St. Louis looked like a juggernaut. We told you that home field advantage was going to be what it was. I mean, they look like, and when the first game started out, the first half, I thought they were going to win, like you said, 40-3 or something.
Yeah, they were up 17-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
Well, is it time for Wade Phillips to move along?
Whoa! Let's not get too crazy.
It's your boy. I don't mean to step. I don't mean to offend you.
Is it time to tell son of a bum that he's actually coaching this year? That's the real question. Should we wake him up and say, "Hey, the season started"? He might not be aware. They did the same exact thing last year, and they got themselves to the championship game.
Coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in that second half.
26-9. How the fuck did we not hit the over, man? I mean, the first half blunder.
All right.
Then, I mean, you ever seen that where a team like runs out the clock on themselves? Yeah. Anyway, look, we're gonna talk power rankings. But before I do that, I want to let the good UFL listeners know that the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes. Look, they have UFL action. We play it all the time. And they have every other sport too. Just killed it on the national championship in college basketball last night. So sign up. And when you do, sign up with our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props, and they just released their new model for the MLB, which you got to check out. They also have NBA and golf models out there, so check out all of those. Building your model is you can build your own model. It's simple, it's easy, it's fun. Sign up today for a free 7-day trial period at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, we are back. And I wanted to ask you guys this before. Let me just jump over to this. Before we get to our power rankings, I'm looking at the week 3. And we got Friday night Renegades at Stallions, Penetrobe Stadium. Then Saturday, the Roughnecks are at the Liberty Bowl taking on the Showboats. Sunday, a doubleheader. They seem to be committed to this type of formula here. Brahmas at the Michigan Panthers. And then the DC Defenders at the Battlehawks. Is that just the no-brainer, the Defenders, Battlehawks? Because I think the one that I want to see most is that Renegade Stallions game. CJ, which one do you want to see most this week?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, King of Spring going to Birmingham. Obviously it looks like after that performance, I was actually shocked that the line was so low, not to look ahead to our picks play game, but we'll see how it goes. It's definitely the ultimate litmus test right away. And Birmingham's still getting their bearings. They can't look back after losing that opener. So yeah, that and DC St. Louis, both games interest me for sure.
Yeah. J-Mark, is there one that stands out to you more than the other?
Those are the obvious ones, but let's go Houston and Memphis. Sometimes when two really shitty teams play each other, it's actually really entertaining.
100%. I agree. And that's why I say Memphis hits your double digits this week, or Houston, or wherever the hell you're asking. They both hit double digits. Love it over.
All right. Well, look, let's get to our power rankings. Don't forget our picks will be over the next 48 hours, we'll get picks out there to you.
Real quick, Colby. We said they shouldn't start Kellen Mond. Should they go with Guantanamo Bay or Kevin Hogan? That's their other 2 quarterbacks.
Ooh,
I mean, I
like
think both.
those
I think
guys.
both are better than Mond. Personally,
Yeah, I like both those players.
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Like Guantanamo, of course.
yeah.
Kellen Hogan was born to hold a clipboard. Kevin Hogan, whatever it is, the Stanford guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's born
but
for clipboard. Yeah.
you know, another thing. I mean, I know you guys. So the league seems like there's a scoring issue right now. Correct? Would you agree to that assessment?
Yeah, that I mean, bad week of scoring last week when all 4 unders hit, and the week 1, I believe all the teams that lost, none of them hit double digits. Maybe 1 or 2 hit 11 or something. So that's been the problem. That one team, well, even if one team is scoring, the other one is just not. So that's not good.
Look, I know you weren't crazy about the kickoff last year, right? The kickoff. No. I know you didn't like how far back it was because they could return the ball to like midfield almost any possession. But I actually think it really helps for scoring, and I think you're seeing why the scores have been so low with this new foo-foo bullshit kickoff. I truly believe that's one of the reasons you're asking your offenses to go down the field because it's really hard to break one in with that kickoff. It just is. You think I have a case here, J Mark?
I mean, I think you'll say anything to get rid of the current kickoff they have.
I will.
But no.
But I also believe like that is a real big impact on this. Like Big Bates made like every goddamn field goal was off a nice kick return. So I feel like that offense didn't do shit. He was just burying field goals.
That makes sense. But in the spring leagues, we always see the defenses ahead of the offense at first. So that might be part of it as well. I do think there is less scoring than we saw week 1, week 2 last year. But I don't know if that's a talent pool or coaching distractions, just league distractions in general. I mean, seems to be a lot going on for a league they're trying to get their feet under them, right? But it seems like they're just doing a bunch. They're expanding in 2026.
I was about to say, I thought I just saw two franchises.
Yeah. Now, one of them is rumored to be the Seattle Sea Dragons. I don't know if that's just fans hyping it up, and so it's going around social media a lot, or if there's some truth to that.
Please use a better name. Just a Sea Dragon? The fuck is a Sea Dragon? It's goddamn Dungeons and Dragons. Stop rolling the 20-sided die and talking dexterity bullshit. All right, I want to hear about some cool names, man. I like the idea. How about the Las Vegas Dealers? You like that idea, CJ?
I like that. Dice Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Put 2 dice on the fucking helmet.
Can
we just be cool again? God damn it! I mean,
that's your slogan. Can we just be cool again?
We're fire breathing dragons in the sea. The fuck is that? Anyway, power rankings. If you don't have this team ranked number 8, we should probably no longer do the show. It's the Houston Roughnecks, and I think there's a gigantic fucking gap between them and number 7.
They only lost by 2 against the King of Spring. I mean, you got to give them a little credit for putting up an effort. But yeah, no, I have them last. You have to.
Yeah. J Mark,
100% agree. Worst coached team, and they don't look good anywhere. It's hard to find a positive.
They are 1-1 against the spread.
That's true.
Yeah, and then you have it's at number 7. To me, it's pretty I feel pretty solid with this one too. The San Antonio Brahmas. They look like shit too, but they have more skill position players than Houston. Like you can just see it. Now maybe this Houston trade helps them a little bit, but yeah, I feel like there's still a decent gap between 8 and 7.
Yeah, and I have Brahmas as well. It's 7. They have looked terrible. But like I said, the one glimmer of hope they do have, they do have those talent, obviously, with McFarland and a bunch of guys. And, son of a bum is exactly what they did last year. And they rallied midseason, and they rallied with that defensive line, which is, and that's how they did it. So that there's a blueprint, there's a path for them for improvement, at least. Where when I look at Houston, I'm like, they just have no hope. They're just a disaster.
Yeah. J Mark, who do you got at 7?
Yeah, I've got San Antonio as well. I wouldn't say it's a huge gap, but there's definitely a gap between Houston and San Antonio. San Antonio is just not that good right now. Maybe they can, like last year, get it going, but right now they're just not that good.
Yeah. At number 6, I got the Memphis Showboats and Ken Whisenhunt. I think there's, I don't know if I could say that. I do think they're better than San Antonio, but with EJ Perry started, I can't say they're drastically better than San Antonio. I think they're slightly better than San Antonio.
Yeah, and you can make a case that they could be 2-0 too. This Memphis team. I mean, they've played and surprised me both games, both weeks at least. But also, they didn't surprise me. They revealed who they are. They're just bad, and they don't figure out ways to win because they hand the ball over. They do things, but they could have beat Michigan, and they certainly could have beat DC, outgaining them, for crying out loud. What was Whisenhunt's comeback? Did he have any good quotes afterwards? J. Mark will have getting back into the feel of things of football, or that's just when no one even asked him a question or even gave a shit?
Yeah, I think everybody went.
I don't think they knew he missed week 1. They're just like, oh,
right. Hilarious.
Well, now they're saying
sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Now they're saying that, like I heard the reporters saying, well, he missed week 1 because of family emergency or an illness or something. It's like, why are we? First, it was personal reasons. Then it was he just wasn't going to be there. Now it's family. What is it?
I told you the family reason. He took his wife on a picnic. He committed to this shit back like a year ago. He got her Coldplay tickets or some shit, right? And then he realized that he's like, oh shit, I got to work that weekend. And then he called up the Rock, and the Rock's like, oh hell yeah, who gives a shit? I'm not even showing up to this thing down in Houston. Right? Just, I don't know, blame it on the pilot. Who gives a shit, right? Family problems.
I just like Whisenhunt having a direct line to the Rock.
J. Mark, who do you have at number? What are we at? 6?
Number 6. Yeah, I got Memphis. I think these are the bottom 3 teams, and I think there's a gap between all of them.
Yeah, and at number
for sure
5 to me is the Michigan Panthers. I do think Mike Nolan is not a good coach, and I think that's gonna be an issue. And they just lost their best receiver, so a little concerned about the injuries they have. Their defense is still good, which they'll keep them in a lot of games. But I think they're worthy of number 5. CJ, who do you got at 5?
I have Michigan 5 as well, and it's the biggest fall I've had. I had them at 2 last week. So dropping them to 5 is a big fall, but of course you have the 3 undefeated teams and then Birmingham, who they just played, who Birmingham handily beat them. So I can't have them above them. So I do agree with J. Mark, where you're saying you have the bottom 3 teams and then we move up a tier with the rest. So you can start shuffling around these teams. But also Michigan, I mean, that game really hurt them. That crashed them out. Like you said, they're trading away players as politics. They're putting defensive plaplayer of the years on IR.
Politics in that locker room.
They're just a mess, dude. They still keep messing around with Perkins and just don't let him cook. Let him be the starter. Let him be, looking over his shoulder.
Did I miss an episode? Did Mike Nolan go on Fox News like Bruce Pearl did, talking Gaza Strip? J. Mark, who do you got at 5?
Yeah, I have the Panthers. I had them higher until this trade and Breeland Speaks injury. I mean, the trade, if I don't know what kind of guy Marcus Sims was in the locker room. I don't know if he hyped all the guys up, but that's the kind of thing that can start unraveling an organization in a smaller league like this, right? You trade a guy that they all care about, and now they're like, what the fuck? This makes no sense. Why did we do this? And the effort isn't there. So they're going to be a really interesting team to kind of see how the team responds the next couple weeks here. But yeah, I got them at 5.
At number 4, I have the DC Defenders. You had that great win against Birmingham, but I think that was a little bit of Birmingham underestimating how much they were laser focused. I was not that impressed with this week's win. I think they are a little bit of fool's gold right now. I will say Greg's got the defense going, but I don't think they're a serious contender.
No, they were fortunate. I have them also on that 4, and they were fortunate to get this win. I mean, they got the 3 turnovers, so you can say fortunate or they created, and whatever you want to say. Either way, going forward with the coaching staff down in Tennessee, definitely some question marks to say the very least. But they're 2-0. You gotta give it to them. So they're 4. I have them at 4th. What did I have them last week? Oh, I had them at 4th as well last week. So they're I had them as the worst undefeated team, and I still do.
J Mark, who do you got at 4?
Yeah, hopefully we start disagreeing at some point so we can argue here, but I got DC as well. Like I said when we were talking about the recap of that game, I think they're going to be the hardest team to handicap because Tamu and I think the team in general are going to be a little bit volatile.
Yeah. So we've all agreed on the whole league.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing for the league, I don't think. At number 3, I got the Arlington Renegades. King of Spring, only scoring 11 points against Houston. There's some red flags in that fucking performance. But I do think Bob Stoops, one of the better coaches in the league, despite what CJ says about my slander. All right. They're number 3. Who do you got at 3, Bet Detective?
I'd have Arlington as well, and I was thinking about putting them at 4 and DC at 3. I was thinking about flipping these guys, but that would have been just me taking the Arlington not cover personal because we invested so much on them to beat Houston. It was so disappointing, even though they got the win. We got to realize they did get the win. King of Spring, they moved on, but not a confidence that game to barely beat Houston at home. I don't care if you outgain them by 70 yards to win by 2 points. That's pathetic.
You should outgain it by more than 70 yards.
Right. Absolutely. And if they had a competent, like I said, just a competent coach that understood rules and game theory, they easily could have lost that game. So I have Arlington at 3. Everyone at the same position basically as last week. The only thing I flipped so far is Memphis and San Antonio at 6 and 7. And then, like I said, Michigan was 2 to 5. So you can see where this is. You can see where this is all going.
Yeah. Yeah. J Mark, do we agree yet again?
Well, I mean, I had Arlington originally at 2, but then I looked to this week and not to bury the lead. I know what side I'm going to go, and that doesn't make sense having them higher than the team they play. So I have to have them at 3 because of that.
And I appreciate that because I don't want you giving them any bulletin board material. I know Birmingham's watches this show. I don't need them to put up the UFL screenshots of J Mark ranking Arlington ahead of them before the game because I need my Renegades to pull up the upset.
Do they give them free internet at the hub? I wouldn't make guarantees. Right. At number 2, I have the St. Louis Battlehawks. They've looked phenomenal through 2 weeks. You could argue they're the 2 worst teams in the league, power ranked by myself and you guys apparently. So I guess I wouldn't be arguing with you guys. Tony Meatball's got a good team, but we'll see what he does against some decent competition away from that filthy dome. Yeah, 2. Number 2, Manny Wilkins does look pretty damn comfortable though. And I'll be honest, they look better on offense without Gradkowski. I think Gradkowski might have been holding them back. Bet Detective, who do you got at 2?
I got Birmingham at 2. This is you stepping outside, you being a fanboy for your Birmingham, putting up number 1 just because
they're the best team.
They came back with a win.
They're the best team again.
I mean, that's very disrespectful. And I'm, of course, the way J Mark is with the King of Spring, Luis Perez. I have a thing with Coach Tony Meatball, but he's got them on all cylinders. They are locked and loaded. I got Birmingham at 2. They're 1-1. I can't put them number 1.
They haven't played any of your top 4 teams.
Dynasty. Let's not forget how bad they looked that week.
Strength of schedule. Birmingham played 4 and 5. They played 4 and 5 in the Bet Detectives rankings.
Drunken Irishman was there riding the beer snake. The crowd was going crazy at Audi Field, and they looked pathetic.
Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
And now you got them at number 1. That's insane.
They're the best team in this league. They got multiple quarterbacks. They're all better. They got guys everywhere. They're the best team in this league. All right. There's a big gap, by the way, too.
Where did you have them last week?
1.
Yeah, after being 0-1, you had them at 1.
Yeah, I was like, one game. I don't have any
100 yards.
Yeah, I was like, they lose like 4 games in their existence with Skip Holtz. Well, why would I go away from that? Steer away from that? No. J Mark, who do you got at 2-1? And tell me why you're a fool if you state that St. Louis is the top team in the league.
Well, shout out to Drunken Irishman saying it's only Rowdy in the end zone. I'm on CJ's side here, and I can't put them at 1 yet.
Wait a second, though. But they've played your guys' 8th and 7th ranked teams.
I get that. And they
strength of schedule's a thing, boys. All right,
and they've smoked both teams too, by the way.
Yeah, but check
there's
this
something
out.
to say about that.
They also have played a home game. Birmingham's played both their games on the road against some of your number 4 and 5 ranked teams. God
and I think,
damn it, man.
I think we'll see a lot about Birmingham this coming week, right? When they play a team that we all think is pretty decent.
Yeah. King of Spring's coming to town, baby.
Yeah, and if they can dominate that game, I mean, then you can consider maybe putting them at 1. I get what you're saying about the Battlehawks, but regardless of who they've played, they've looked good. They've executed well, right? It's easy to overlook these teams that are not that good. And I think Manny Wilkins, he's been a surprise to me. I expected maybe it was Gronkowski, maybe it was AJ McCarron holding him back. I mean, he could throw well, but his mobility was 0.
Yeah.
We're seeing Manny Wilkins run around pretty
He
well.
does. Add a different element.
And he's fired up. I like how fired up he is. I know people should have got a taunting penalty. Fuck that. I mean, I like a quarterback that will lay hits on people, try to stiff arm guys. I mean, y'all know I'm a Jay Cutler fan. So I like seeing him.
I was going to say, if I'm The Rock and a referee calls a taunting call during the game, I'm firing him on the spot and say, you don't ever throw a taunting flag in this league. All
we
right?
need people to like the league.
Right.
Well, didn't they say
Now we got a problem.
Didn't they say if they had thrown that taunting flag on Manny Wilkins when he was reviewing it, he's like, I would have agreed with it. It's like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Dino.
Oh, hold on. This brought up a great point. What game was that? God damn it. I can't remember. I want to say it was the St. Louis game. Where
Son
St.
of a
Louis
bum called out Blandino.
No.
That soundbite on my.
That one's great too. Yeah.
Blandino pulled us up there. They loved it. They loved it.
Wait.
Oh, Blandino, they shouted you out.
Wait. Did you guys catch? I think it was St. Louis got a 2-point conversion. Or no, the ball got stripped and San Antonio recovered it. He was reaching out, but he got passed across the plane before he did that. And they go to Blandino. And Blandino's like, he crossed that. That's a touchdown before the fumble. But I'm not going to mention that gigantic holding right there. Aren't they supposed to be able to turn over any scoring play?
All right.
I thought that's like, and you didn't. I'm not going to mention it, but you did. But then you didn't correct it. Does that make any sense?
I think they can turn over if it's a score or not. I don't think they can throw a penalty unless the coach challenges, hey, there was a penalty on that play.
Yeah, super challenge or whatever to do.
Yeah, he can't just review a scoring play. Yeah.
Well, but he's changed it before just on random shit that he sees, right? But not a hold, you're saying.
Right. Not a penalty like that.
You can't take the flag out of the guy's pocket.
Right.
Okay.
Unless it's super challenged.
Okay. Yeah. We're learning things about this league. All right, folks, we'll be back. What day do you guys? Wednesday or Thursday? We'll figure it out.
Yep. We'll figure it out.
Stay tuned. Make sure you give J Mark a follow at JMark Football on Twitter. CJ Sullivan's on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _ and Instagram. Make sure you check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, Masters Talk, Augusta. You ever had
tomorrow? Big Masters episode.
You ever had a pimento cheese sandwich? I've never had one.
No, never for $1.50. That's for sure. I've done worse things for $1.50 though. I'll tell you much. Pimento cheese sandwich. And Drunken Irishman. What kind of question is that? Who's the best quarterback in the league right now? It is the King of Spring, and there will be no books sold down in Birmingham this week because they cannot read.
There's the bulletin board material that Birmingham needed. I'm just trying to get some bulletin board.
I'm getting ready for rivalry week.
I'm going to go ahead and say whoever's playing for the Birmingham Stallions.
All right, fair enough. But
Because
you said Crowder looked good.
Yeah.
Manny Wilkins. It's Manny Wilkins. I'm just saying that because I hate Prez and Tamu.
You're trying to get back on the St. Louis's good side. You were a Battlehawk fanboy, then you jumped ship when AJ left, when Pretty Boy left.
That's right.
Ranked them down the road. I had St. Louis #1 in the rankings. I believed in them. And now you're trying to do anything you can to get back on their good side.
Yes. Folks, I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. Give me a follow or whatever and check out the college football experience, college basketball experience, college baseball experience. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast as well. Till next time, this is the UFL Gambling Podcast where crossroads meet bullshit. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And with the game.